Hey everyone, so welcome back. Here is video number 2 in the series of 6 videos that I promised you following the WOMANPRENEUR event. I encourage you to go back, watch the last video, the very first video that I put out there, and also watch the WOMANPRENEUR event. It just would help give you context on all the different things that I will be talking about today. So now, today, I want to talk about money, about wealth creation. And particularly, I want to talk about fixing your internal game for money, or fixing your thinking, or fixing your subconscious for money. And this is important because oftentimes people go out there and they learn all the tools and all the actions that you need to take to actually create wealth. So you talk about savings, you talk about paying down debt, you talk about all of those things, investing, etc. But if you actually have a limiting belief, or you actually have a limiting thought about money, it doesn't really matter how much money you actually handle or how much actually comes into your hand. It's all just going to go to waste because something on the inside of you is destroying the wealth that you're creating. So it becomes very, very important for us to, first of all, fix our internal state so that we can actually attract money, right? And that is, very important. Now, the first thing I want to do, this is the very first exercise here, right? When I say money, when I say entrepreneurship, what comes to your mind? All kinds of thoughts people have in their mind when it comes to, money, entrepreneurship. People probably thinking about, oh, I can pay my bills. I got new shoes. Oh, money's so hard to get. Money makes me a bad person. I'll lose some friends. YOLO, live your best life right now, etc. And the thing about it is, if you have those types of thoughts, right, about money being bad, money causing you to lose friends, you don't want money to change who you are as a person, those are limiting thoughts and limiting belief systems about money. You see, because the problem with that is, if you hold those thoughts and you hold them to be true for yourself, you're going to subconsciously push the opportunity to create wealth, to add value to the lives of people, because you don't want to get money. Because if you did get money, ultimately it's going to make you a bad person, and that's not who you want to be, right? But on the flip side, what you need to be thinking about as it pertains to money and entrepreneurship is ideas, it's value, it's love, it's benevolence, it's impact, it's tithe, it's work, it's being diligent. All of these things are very, very impactful ways to think about money. And if we go back to the concept of value, money actually flows in the direction of value. Money is an exchange of value. At least that's what we're taught in the economics class. And it is very true. So what people pay you, or the money that flows to you, is dependent on the perception of the value that you have in life, or the value that you add in any context, in the market, in an organization, in a community, etc. That's what determines how money flows to you. Idea rules the world, right? Not money. And what you really need to be thinking is, you need to be an ideas person. See, because if you have an idea can be revolutionary. An idea can be the difference between you being a billionaire in 2 years or in 3 years, or you just like being an average, Jane, right? And that's not who you are. So I say all of these things because this is how I want you to start thinking about money. Start thinking about ideas, start thinking about value, think about love, think about benevolence, think about impact, think about the tithe, right? Think about work, think about diligence, right? And the reason why all of this is important, right, is because you remember the question I asked you last week, or last video. I had said, how much do you want? Right? You see, because once you think about the number and you say, how much do I want? The next thing you have to start thinking about is, what am I willing to give in exchange for what I want? And this is where the whole purpose thing comes into play. Because if what you want is really going to place a demand on you, it becomes worth it because there is a purpose behind it. There's something bigger than just accumulation that is behind that pursuit, right? And that's how all of this ties into your purpose, right? And to your pursuit in life. It's, what am I willing to give in exchange for the amount of money that I really think and I really believe that I want in life? And that then becomes very, very important. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is to start thinking in terms of net worth, right? So income is great, income is good, but if you earn, $1 million and you have expenses that are to the tune of 1,000,001, then you're in trouble, right? But you need to be thinking about net worth, because true wealth is really true financial wealth is really about your net worth. It's all your assets, all the things that you own versus less how much you owe, right? So ownership less debt, ownership less debt. That's your net worth, right? So you have to start thinking about, how can I grow my asset base? How can I grow in the things that I own? What type of intellectual property can I create? What type of assets out there can I buy, right? Things that are increasing in value over time. How can I develop myself? And all these things are important, because once you invest in yourself, you're actually creating value. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But start thinking in terms of net worth, right? Because it changes the trajectory of how you think about wealth creation for yourself, right? And now, here are a few things that I would like you to do. So these are, again, talking about the practical steps that you can take. First thing I want you to do is expand on your financial vocabulary. This is very, very important. This is one of the things that we'll talk about subsequently, based on all the data that I had researched about why women tend to fall short in this area of wealth creation and leadership and entrepreneurship, is because there's a lack of confidence, there's a lack of knowledge, and as a result of that, they're not pursuing what they need to be pursuing, and they're not having the conversations because there's some sense of, I don't know enough, so I'm shy. This, emotional awareness is kind of what makes many women draw back and not pursue what they need to be pursuing. But if you knew and you had the financial vocabulary, you can be out there and you can actually increase in this pursuit. So when you start hearing conversations about money, about investments and things like that, don't just tune off. Don't just start thinking about the bills that you have to pay, the shoes you can buy, the purses you can buy, but pay attention, get in on that conversation, because the more of that you hear, the more confident you become. Start reading financial books, and it doesn't even have to be like anything crazy and deep, but just like simple conversations, simple articles out there about money. Once you start expanding your financial vocabulary, you start programming yourself to be comfortable around conversations of wealth creation and money. The next thing that I want you to do is ideas. Write down 10 money making ideas. Yes, I said 10. I actually was about to say 50, right? But some people would probably be like, nah, dude, that's like way too much. But write down 10 money making ideas. Why? Because I want you to start thinking in ideas. I want to activate that part of you so you're consistently thinking ideas. Look, if someone, if you saw me and you saw me in deep thoughts, I give you two guesses. You probably would do well just guessing one. I'm always thinking about how to make more money, or two, thinking about how to impact people's lives. You can't go wrong if you make those two guesses when you see me thinking. And I have friends who are wealthy, who are rich. And when I talk to them, it's the same thing. They're consistently just thinking, and they're just like tuned out there, conscious about opportunities to just make money and for opportunities to just, create wealth. And that's what I want you to do. Just like be an ideas person, start thinking about ideas, right? I want you to trigger that part of you. The next thing I would say is ask yourself the question, how can I create value? What are the value gaps around me? Look at everything. You see, where there is a frustration, where there is a complaint in life, in the market, in your community, that's an opportunity for you to add value. It means that someone's not doing something that the market values, and that's why many people are complaining about it. You can be that person that fixes that. So start asking yourself and start writing it down right now. How can I create value? What are the opportunities around me where there is a gap in value? Now, the next thing I want to ask you is the love question. What can I do that demonstrates love for humanity? And the reason why this is important is that if you are someone who's always thought that money is destructive and money makes you bad, money, doesn't, contribute to people, you can become selfish. You have to start thinking that if you had money, you can actually demonstrate greater love to society. You can demonstrate greater love to the community. You can add so much value that it causes people in your community to flourish and to even become better people. The next thing is the benevolence question. Ask yourself the question, who are the people around me that I can help? Start writing them down. See, because as you start thinking about everyone you can help with all the excess cash and all the excess wealth that you can create, it now starts making you think that, man, I really have a long way to go. I really have a lot to do. Because there are all these people that I can impact. It's just beyond me, my spouse, and my children, but there are all these people that I can impact and I can add value to their life, that I can give and I can contribute to the society and contribute to the world. Remember your eulogy? I want people in China, people in India, in countries that I don't even know of, crying, when I go and when I die. Why? Because I've added value to their lives. And that's how you need to be thinking as well. The last thing I would say as an exercise for you is ask yourself the question, how much time can I give in exchange for the ideas and for the values that I need to create? This is important. If you're thinking to yourself that, well, I really don't have time, it's a question of desire. How much do you really want it? You see, because when you really want it, maybe if you don't have time right now, you have to start thinking about reorganizing your life. And if you do have time right now, you have to get to work on these ideas. You have to get to work on these things that I've told you about and start looking for how you can create value. We'll talk a little bit more about how to actualize these things, but at least get conscious on how much time you actually need and how much time you can create and how you need to reorganize your life and reprioritize your life so that you can pursue these different things that I have talked about today. All right, drop a comment in here, send me a note as usual. I'd love to hear from you. I'd like to know what was most impactful to you, what you started on. Love to hear all these things. All right, see you again. Thanks and bye.